Alrighty, you are looking live from Columbus, OH, and this is Answering Your Financial Questions with Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach that is now checked. Okay, that seems like that's a bit loud. So let's take that down just a little bit. I was also being boisterous as well. All right, so we'll try that. Okay, yep, that's a lot better. All right. As I was saying, I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Other plugs are in the ticker below. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And for my financial content, you just scroll past the Oak Island playlist and the Skin Up the Ranch playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money. And that again is me. And then below that, the music playlist. And there's 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including probably the best one, You Belong Debt Free. You belong debt free. You belong debt free. Did you ever think that just maybe? I don't think that's it. You belong debt free. You belong debt free. Anyway, so that entire thing is on there. So listen to those if you are so inclined. Let's get into some questions. Also, Ramsey Show After Show tomorrow, 11 a.m. Monday, Labor Day. Don't know if it'll be a replay / best of the Ramsey Show or not for Labor Day. Regardless, it would not be normally. It would be Friday's show that would be on YouTube Monday morning. But they have saved Fridays before when Monday was a holiday, and shown a best of on the holiday, and then put the Friday show on Tuesday. I have done that before, so I don't know what they're going to do. We are on reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, not /financial bro, not whatever, average people advice. It's r/Dave Ramsey. So you would expect to find people wondering what Dave Ramsey would think. But again, why you would go to the subreddit, I don't know, when you can just Google it or go to RamseySolutions.com and find it there, and that would be exactly what he says. And instead of somebody saying what they think he said, or people purposely not saying the Ramsey advice on here and giving just regular advice, but who knows. Anyway, this is Pineapple Princess. I've heard of Pizza Princess, but not a Pineapple Princess. 116. Advice for a girl in her mid-20s. Okay, so again, the beautiful thing about the Ramsey advice and the baby steps is that this applies to everyone, no matter how old you are. But there are some exceptions in the Ramsey advice, including this one. If this mid-20s girl is still in college or plans to go to college, or is living with mommy and daddy still, then the advice is to save up, just pile up cash. You're not starting investing yet. You're not doing anything else yet. Hopefully you have no debt. The advice would be to not take out any debt. But the idea is that you just pile up cash until you graduate college, debt free, if that's in your cards here. But let's see exactly what this young lady's issue is. Hello, here's my financial situation so far. I would love any insight/advice on how to best utilize what I have in a way that honors God and blesses my future husband and family. All righty then. No debt. Fabulous. In a steady job. Fabulous. I put 10% into my 403b annually that my company matches. So 20%. Okay. If they match 100%. Some of them do a thing like, well, we'll put 50% up to X amount of percent that you put in. So like if, like mine in particular does 50% of up to 6%. So at the most they'll do is put in 3%, but that's still free money. And some companies don't do any match. Opened my Roth IRA account last year and put in $7,000 each year, mostly into S&P 500 to play it safe. Okay. And so this is fine if this is a person that is living on her own. She is an adult in mid-20s and so should be living on her own and not with mommy and daddy. And maybe not college, because it sounds like the steady job, if it's somewhere that gives you a match, then probably that's a big boy or big girl job, like a post-college type job, or a I'm just going to work instead of go to college. Let's see, but mostly into S&P 500 to play it safe. Play it safe also means you're leaving money on the table, and that's not the advice from Mr. Ramsey to do S&P 500. To do any index fund is not his advice. You want to find managed funds that beat the index. Alrighty. Anyway, I have about $135,000 in savings. This young lady is marvelous. That I have in high yield CDs. He does not recommend CDs. You would instead do a high yield savings account for that. I wanted to stay low risk and also have it ready in case the market crashed, so I could use it as a down payment for a house. And that's fine, but it would be high yield savings account instead of a CD. However, I don't see that happening here in California. Boop, 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 doo. Okay. When I said you were fabulous, you're great, except for California. That's going to complicate your life financially because everything costs more there. Right now, and would rather have it work for me than just sit there if possible. Yeah. Although $135,000 as a down payment for a house in California, I don't think that's going to be good enough. It depends on how much you make. You have to be making California money in order to be able to afford a California mortgage. My dad is also kind and would help me with the down payment if I found a great deal. All right. Well, I mean, a gift is fine, but you don't borrow money from daddy. We don't borrow money from anyone. Let's see. But after running the numbers, it does seem risky. I could, in theory, have enough for a down payment on a condo, rent out the other room. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I don't like other people that much, especially random people that it would be. Now, if you and a friend of yours decide to rent something together, that's great. That's fine, and you know your friend. But just anybody that just rent out the other room, you're living with somebody. Let's see, and be paying the same as I already am paying in rent, but what if it crashes after this? What if what crashes after this? The market? The market is going to occasionally go down, and so you have to accept that. But the idea is that you are not day trading here, so we're not worried about what it does tomorrow, and you, my dear, should not be worried about what it's going to do even in the next 30 years, because at age 50 you should still be investing for retirement, because you're not going to retire by age 50. At least that is not the Ramsey advice. So you're still going to have the money in there. And so it doesn't matter if it crashes. If it crashes, then you still keep buying and you're buying it on sale, right? Oh, let's see. Anyways, happy to keep 60K in CDs in an emergency fund. You don't keep it in a CD because it's locked in there for a certain amount of time. If you have an emergency, you're going to pay penalties. That's why it's dumb. That's why you should use high yield savings account. I mean, you're doing most of the stuff great, but you're just, I don't know where you got this CD information from. Your parents, maybe? I don't know. You saw a TikTok that had that on there? I don't know. I don't know where you get CD from. You know, you would think younger people would be more in touch with newer things. I think the high yield savings account are newer accounts are newer than the CD. Let's see. What would be wise to do with the remaining 75K if not real estate? Well, you're not going to invest in real estate because you have to buy it all at one time. So I don't know what you mean if not real estate. I have a Robinhood account and a Fidelity brokerage account that I haven't really used. And you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be putting 15% into retirement while you finish doing the baby steps. But in your case, you would be doing that down payment. So you're on 3B here, which is after the full emergency fund and before investing. But those two are done at the same time. 3B, which is not on this list here, but that's where it goes for down payment. And then step 4 is the investing 15%. And you do not invest one single penny beyond that until you're in step 7, because you have steps 4, 5, and 6 to do, which is continue the 15% investing. And you say you're not married, don't have children yet, I assume. Didn't say anything about those things. Because you were saying future husband and family. So you skip step 5 for now, but if you buy a house or even a condo, you would pay that off early. And so the money goes there instead of for extra investing. So you are misinformed about some things or informed yourself incorrectly. Let's see. But what if it crashes after this? So again, that's what we don't worry about because you are in it for the long term. Not for tomorrow. What if it does crash after this? Then fabulous. It'll be on sale the next time you buy. Which you should be doing out of every paycheck. And so let's go back. I put 10% into my 403B annually after my company matches, so 20%, okay? And Mr. Ramsey recommends 15%, but that's 15% that you put in. And any match is just bonus, is gravy on the biscuit. That means it's extra, bonus. And so you yourself put in 15% and you do not do any investing beyond that until you're on step 7. So you would just be putting it all in a high yield savings account to save for that down payment. It sounds like would be the idea for you. But Robinhood account, no. Brokerage account, that's not a retirement account. That's a no. You're not at that step yet. You do not want to put your down payment in a market because yes, but what if it crashes right when you want to buy a house? Then it will be worth less, and you do not want that to happen. That's why you take the lesser amount in gains and keep it in a high yield savings account because it's definitely not going to go down in there. I don't want to just randomly throw things. Well, that's a good idea, but why do you have so many options? That does sound like randomly throwing things to me. Why did you open the Robinhood account? Why did you open the Fidelity brokerage account? Obviously, you didn't look far enough into the Dave Ramsey advice. I want to be strategic. Any tips on how to best utilize these 75K? You put it in a high yield savings account for the down payment. If getting a house is your priority, and in California, you're going to need a huge down payment to be able to get the mortgage down to where it is 25% of your take-home pay, because California is very expensive. What could I learn, or what are safe ways to make the money grow long term? As I said, high yield savings account. It's very easy, where you just would say the high yield savings account, because there's no penalty if you take it out at any time. With the CD, there is. They have expiration date or maturation dates on those. I want to be a woman of prudence, resourcefulness, and long-term vision. Well, you didn't even Google it. It doesn't sound like, but admitting now I may have been too prudent with just keeping everything in CDs. No, not prudent, because it's the right idea. It's just the terms of it, which is fees if you need to take it out early. And so don't do that. And you can make about the same amount or more even in a high yield savings account. And so that's what you would do. But you are trying to do kind of like too many things, or at least had planned to, by opening up the freaking Robinhood and Fidelity brokerage accounts, because that is not the way it's done. That's not the Ramsey advice. Again, you would be investing 15%, and especially for California, with California in mind, you can stop investing completely for up to 2 years while you save up a larger down payment faster in a high yield savings account, not a CD. So you should probably leave the CDs where they are right now, and when they mature, then you take it out and put it in the high yield savings account. Alrighty. So, but overall, better off than most mid 20-year-olds, for sure. So props on that. But it's just like you didn't. I don't know. You're not that familiar with Mr. Ramsey. Need to watch more shows. Need to Google his advice. I mean, if you Googled Dave Ramsey advice for mid 20s wanting to buy a house, maybe. Or this is going to be the same advice for everybody wanting to buy the house. They can not invest for up to 2 years while they save a larger down payment, which is necessary if you don't have a high cost of living salary, but you do live in a high cost of living state, which California certainly is. And so hopefully you have a high cost of living salary too, though. That would be fabulous. But people are nutty. You say you don't want to jump around and just throw things. And I know what you mean. It's just like do this and this and this and this. But that's exactly what you've done by opening all these different kind of accounts. Alrighty. Savings warning 7612. Was let go in November 24. Emergency funds running low. Not sure what to do. So you see, November 20 of 2024, my friend, tomorrow is September. So that would be 10 months ago. Between, 9 and 10 months, like 9.5 or so, perhaps, months ago. So almost 10 months ago, that you were let go. And why are you not working anywhere yet? Let's see what this says here. Oh, of course there's more than a paragraph to explain whatever's going on here. Why you don't have a job? What would Dave do? He would have already gotten a job. Hello all. At the end of 2024, I was let go, and since I've been looking for a new job, but the tech market has been rough, then you work in a different market than the tech market instead of waiting for some magic job in your field to happen, to offer itself to you. You're being dumb. I have had a few interviews, but nothing has converted to an offer yet. I have about 4 to 5 months of emergency funds left. So it sounds like you had too much emergency fund to begin with. Unless you were on step 7 previously, which now you're not, because you don't have 6 months. Before I have to either start using retirement or take a HELOC or something else. Okay, so you don't do that. Instead, you get your lazy, dumb ass a job instead. Typical hiring timeline for my role. Okay, I don't care about your roles. I care about you getting a job at all. At my level, and 3+ months with all the screenings and interviews. So I'm pushing hard right now to get interviews, but I need to plan for worst case. Should I just plan on taking from retirement? No, because you're not retiring. That's for retiring. That's for when you're retired. So you being dumb. Quit being dumb. I've tried applying for more junior positions, but I have over 25 years experience, so I either don't get any responses or a quick decline. I live in a high cost of living area. You might need to move. So the job needs to have a decent income, $200,000 plus to cover costs and still save for retirement. You might need to move. Update. Thank you for all the comments. I'll start trying to get on state medical and dumping my Cobra plan as well as interesting. There must have been some extra. He must have talked about in a follow-up comment or reply to somebody else. Must have said about we're talking about the expenses. He must have been. And try to find some sort of position outside my field. Yeah, thank you, people of Reddit. Sometimes people have to be told to stop being dumb. If I don't get any solid leads by the end of September, then we are going to put the house on the market. I need that time to get it ready to list. Yeah, and if you're going to sell the house, I would move out of that high cost of living area and relocate somewhere else. Maybe you or your spouse has family somewhere. And so I would certainly think about that. What you cannot do is continue to do what you're doing, because then you'll still hemorrhage money, and hopefully you have cut expenses during this time and are not eating out 2 or 3 times a week, even fast food. Not talking about a waiter or waitress type of deal, but even just fast food. Don't do any of that because you don't have a freaking job. And why don't you have one doing something by now? You can continue to look for a job in your field while you get a job at all. Mr. Eyes, J2, unknown lien on my house. Let's see. Yeah, I was interested in this one. Previewed this one last night. And generally, that was, you might need to talk to a lawyer about that, or your realtor, or something like that. You would think that would come up during the sale. Let's say I got divorced in 2020. Now, 5 years later, I want to refinance the home that I bought her out of. Okay. And so instead of just saying her and making us, okay, let's see, got divorced. Okay. So he was married to a female and bought her out of it. Okay. So I got it. But that's anyway, there you got worse problems than not wording it well. Used 401k to give her 100k, and that was dumb as crap too. People are so dumb. They run right to the 401k, and the other person brought up getting a home equity line of credit. Quit being dumb, people. The title company is saying there are 2 liens on my home, one for $1650 filed in 2018 and another for $15k for back taxes filed in 2019. Okay, the back taxes, got a great idea. Pay them. How did that happen? Why didn't you pay enough taxes on them? Stop being dumb. I mean, if it's a mistake, if you did the taxes and a mistake, that happens. Even if you've paid somebody to do the taxes and a mistake happened, that happens as well. But you may be able to get some type of restitution from that company. Don't know. You can check on that as well. But that $1650, you don't know what it is. So we know what the taxes are, but the $1650 we don't know. We have filed together, but she was illegal before marriage, and after marriage, I suspect she let her mom or family use her social. Is there anything I can do that won't eat up the whole $15k, like hiring a lawyer? No. I don't think so. They get real expensive real fast. They do. She is not owning it, but I went to the recorder's office and seen the liens myself. No, you saw them. Quit being dumb with English as well. This has to be fraud because we got married in 2010 and filed taxes together the whole entire time. The lien is from unpaid taxes from 2012 to 2017. Thanks in advance. So, whose taxes? Hers? Or, I guess if you guys filed together and it was unpaid, why didn't you pay them? Why didn't you pay attention to taxes? Was she handling it and you just were thinking, oh, she's handling it, everything will be fine? That was dumb as crap to not make sure that taxes are paid. So, I mean, I get it if you were in love and you get married and you trust the person, but I mean, I'm gonna at least check on that to make sure that's done and not forgotten about or something like that, where she just kept the money or whatever happened there. So, yeah, but that's the problem though. You can't sue her by yourself unless you go to the people's court. I don't know, is that show still on? But otherwise, you'd have to have a lawyer. And they do cost money. So, you're doing a lot of dumb stuff. You're thinking about a lot of stuff very stupidly as well. So, stop that. How about you make sure, like, taxes are paid? Hopefully, you're doing that since the divorce. Sorry about the divorce, by the way. Happens to the best of it. Best of us. Plastic Banana 777. House purchase with mortgage versus paid off. If you can pay off the house, if you have cash laying around, if you have savings, if you have enough money to buy the house in full and you get a mortgage, that's a little thing called debt leverage, and that's a no for Mr. Ramsey. He's not only the no debt guy, he is also the no debt leverage guy. Okay, so I love the Dave Ramsey show, ... But on the fence on what to do next. We're in the early 40s, but paid off townhouse worth $300,000. The source of that was inheritance. Yes, very blessed and grateful, but feel like for us, we might be ready for upgrade to a home more in the 500K range with better neighborhood, no kids. Then why do you need to do that? People always want to upgrade. Just, oh, I want a bigger house for no reason at all. No kids, both work, and make about 160K a year. Very small debt, 10K. So if you love the Ramsey show, why aren't you following his advice of not having $10,000 in non-mortgage debt? You're being dumb. And also, stay where you are. There's no reason to move. And if you do move, guess what? It has to be paid for with the equity from the house you're selling and also savings. The idea is not to constantly get a higher mortgage. That's a no, 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 no. You're doing it wrong. Prestigious Fig. 2 separate emergency funds. All of your money should be together. Married couples should be together unless there is some kind of problem where you think maybe you won't be married very much longer. And if that happens, yeah, you would separate finances. But if you are married and planning to stay married, then that should be all together. And if there's a problem that it can't be all together, guess who needs counseling? Both of you. My girlfriend and I, are arguing about whether she would have a separate emergency fund after we get married. Great. This is the time. This is fabulous. And it's locked, I see, due to contentiousness. 137 comments. You know, eventually somebody's going to say, something bad that they shouldn't say when it, anytime it gets over 100 comments, that's going to happen. Probably. So that's a lot, but this is the time to have all those conversations, so that way you don't just put it off, not trying to make waves, and then it comes up after you're married, and then you find out, oh, this person wants to do something that's a deal breaker for me, and so you don't be stupid and wait until after you get married to discuss this stuff. She's okay with a joint account for everything else, but why? But once one in case things don't work out. Already kind of a big red flag in my opinion, right? And you can bounce if you don't like it. You don't have to continue being this person's boyfriend, excuse me. You don't have to continue being her boyfriend. What are your guys' thoughts? I don't know how, you saying it's a big red flag to you. I mean, you could ask her about why. Maybe her parents didn't stay together, and maybe her mom is not doing well because of it. Maybe there's a reason that she's thinking like that. It can still be a big red flag for you. You are the one that chooses what is a deal breaker for you. You're the one that gets to choose that. Let's see. She's been married before. Boop, boop, boo-doo. And didn't have one. Also didn't have a joint account. Okay, well, maybe she got screwed over then when that happened, when they broke up. I reason a joint account is best. I reason it. Okay. A joint account is best because it keeps us working together towards a common goal, and the funds are legally protected in the case of divorce. What would Dave Ramsey say about this? She's unwilling to not have one. Well, Dave doesn't have to marry her. You're the one that has to marry her and live with her and accept that or not. It's up to you. If that is a deal breaker for you, then I would suggest you break up with her and never get married and never combine finances. Hopefully you're not already living with her, because that is not what Dave would do or advised either. Lexi Skates, should I get the Ramsey Goal Planner? Just trying to decide if it's worth it. If it helps you with your finances, I'm sure it will be well worth the rate of return on that and would pay off itself. It just depends if that would work. I don't personally need it. I wouldn't have needed to spend that money on that. So it's I don't know, and you might not know ahead of time either. So that's going to be up to you. My family and I are out of debt, working on saving for the future and building memories. Haven't found many external personal reviews on the Goal Planner. If you used it in the past, did you get value from it? Okay, 6 people answered, and so maybe somebody got value. And the problem with that is if somebody answers here that, or even all 6 of them answered that they didn't get value from it, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't get value from it. Or if they did get value from it, that doesn't, ensure that you will as well. You may not. So that's the issue with that. That's we don't know the future as well, and so that's why we also don't say, well, buy a new car because that one won't have problems. But if you buy a used car, it will. No, you don't know that at all. Could be the opposite. Give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. Much, much appreciated. And thanks so much for watching, whether it be now, live, or later. Weekly Worldly Knows. Okay, instead of Worldly News, Worldly Knows 3578. I don't know how to start. Please help. Well, it would be a little thing that's not on here. It's called Baby Step 0. That's when you get current. That's when you make sure you have the 4 walls covered, which are transportation, housing, not in this order, obviously. Housing first, food second, probably. Food and house, up to you, which one's 1 and 2. But anyway, all of these, housing, transportation, food, and clothing a distant fourth, in my opinion. But that's what you need to make sure first. And there's a bunch of other stuff in Baby Step 0 as well. And I guess maybe for the after show tomorrow, I'll pull up that list and let everybody know what's on there. Getting insurances in place is one of the other things that's in there. One of the biggest things in there that's where you decide in baby step 0, you decide you're not going to take on any more debt and that you are going to pay off the debt that you have as soon as possible. You get your mindset right. You get your mind set, as it were. Oh, let's see. I'm in what feels like an impossible situation. My husband and I make more money than I ever have in my life, but so stressed out because we're heavily in debt. Well, that was stupid, right? So shouldn't have done that. So it's time to fix it. And so it's not going to be fun fixing it. I almost assure you that it almost certainly will not be fun. Was barely getting by, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Right, that's like churning cards. And, oh, we'll put everything on a 0% credit card and keep going on like that over and over again. That is dumbass stuff. That is your financial bro stuff, and that's not the Ramsey advice to do that. But kept all of my payments on time until January when Verizon unexpectedly took $1,800 balance for finance cell phones as an auto pay debit after I switched to another carrier to try and save money. No, it's try to save money. But yeah, this is why you don't put anything on auto pay because of that. But yeah, when you switch to another carrier, you owe them that money, and so you were the one that caused that by switching to another carrier. Even though it, trying to save money is good to go from Verizon to perhaps Visible, which uses the Verizon towers, or Mint Mobile, which uses the T-Mobile towers. Since then, my house of cards has come crashing down, and payment. This is why you need to take action. You need to pay more attention and take action before unsustainable situations get to this point and it does crash and cave in. You need to start working on it before that. But people are in denial and they'll just think something will magically happen that's going to save me, and it's not going to happen. You need to save yourself. And payments started getting missed. I've been working ever since to get back on track with online payments so I could start building an emergency fund and start tackling, I guess, my embarrassing level of debt. Please help. Any advice or encouragement or similar stories with positive outcome would be so appreciated. I didn't let it get this. I realized it wasn't going to work, and so I fixed it before then. So this exact situation I can't speak to, but basically the idea is that you cut your lifestyle down to nothing. You cut everything that is not 100% necessary to live, and that's not fun. I guarantee you it's not. So you cut everything out of the budget that doesn't 100% need to be in the budget to live, and you send all that money to debt instead. That's how you pay off any debt, much less a lot of debt, is by not spending the money on anything else. I make a salary of $97,400, which gives me a bi-monthly paycheck of about $3,100 after taxes and benefit. I have the ability to contribute 10% with 10% employer match to my 401k, but don't because I need every cent of my paycheck. And that's correct. You should not be investing while you have any non-mortgage debt at all, much less a bunch of it like you do. My spouse makes $34.10 an hour as a nurse, but is really inconsistent with the hours worked. He's paid weekly and always at least 32 hours and at most 80 hours. It needs to be more like 80 hours a week, every single week. Do whatever you can for that. You can work more as well. His average is about 56, 64 hours a week with overtime rate. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Currently, he's on pace to make about 97 if I take an average, and that's almost exactly what you make. Okay. I can't say what his weekly paychecks are on average because the range is so great. It's fine. It's super frustrating because it makes budgeting nearly impossible. Well, you budget on the lowest amount that it will be then. If it's got a range on it, you budget on the lowest amount it will be. And then if he makes more money, You will not believe this, but guess where all that extra money is going if he makes extra money? That's all going to debt. And that makes it really easy to do it that way. So you don't have to have it where you know the exact amount, so you know exactly how much is going to debt. It doesn't matter. That'll work itself out. All of the extra money goes to debt, not any other thing, because nothing else is absolutely necessary to do. He contributes 10% to his 401k. They match close to that, and he would not be doing that either. You're married, your finances are together, your debt is together. And so on baby step 2, there is no investing. That's why baby step 2 is paying off all the debt, non-mortgage debt there. And baby step 4 doesn't start till step 4, so you're doing it wrong. Here's the debt breakdown. Doesn't really matter, but IRS debt about $43K, and that would be first on the debt snowball. Snowball is usually smallest to largest, but an exception is made for the IRS because you do not want to owe the IRS. So that goes to the front of the line. Mostly mine for making W4 elections to maximize my take-home in order to make up for his inconsistent take-home equals $550 a month, and that is dumb as crap. So here's what you would do. Here's what you should do to make up for his inconsistent take home. Again, you budget on the lowest amount he would possibly bring home, and you don't spend more than that. You were being a dumbass doing it that way and thinking about it that way, but that's very, very normal. State tax payments, $200 a month. 2020 Volvo, 24K owed, just me, $800 a month. You're selling that car right now and buying a beater. 18 Hyundai Tucson with 108, 12K owned, and that's a joint. Okay, well, it doesn't matter, just you. I said all your money is supposed to be together. And so if all of your finances are not together, then that's probably one of the problems and one of the issues here. Because if we're doing a thing like, oh, well, his pay is inconsistent, but then also he's like, well, I'm not going to pay half of this or half of that or half of that. That makes it even more difficult for you. And so I get that part. But yeah, both of these cars are gone. Bye-bye car. Bye-bye cars. Bye-bye cars. Let's see if the house needs to be sold too. Home worth $500,000, but I can't access the equity due to loan to value. Well, we wouldn't do HELOC anyway. So you're not supposed to, you know when you're supposed to access the equity? When you sell the entire thing, which you might have to do, depending on how much debt there is total. 30-year note, that was dumbass too. Supposed to be a 15-year fixed. And the payment needs to be no more than 25% of your take-home pay. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that's more than that amount. Personal loan 1, $39K. Personal loan 2, $10K. And again, the joint and just me, quit that crap. Quit that crap. You guys need to have a talk about that. Credit cards only me. Well, I mean, you know, if we're gonna do this, I got a great idea. Only me. Credit cards. There are 9. And we did 8 twice. So are there 10? Lady, you are just a dumbass, okay? Stop. You got to stop being a dumbass eventually. How did you think this was going to work? Have you said no to anything dumb that you would have to pay for ever? Have you ever said, no, I'm not going to buy that? Auto insurance, okay, that you got to have auto insurance. That is part of baby step 0, as said. Umbrella, $1,025,000 a month. You don't need that. I mean, it is just $25. But the umbrella insurance, what do you need that for? Power 350, heating up 400 a month. That seems excessive. How big is this house? And how many kids, etc., etc. So, you might have to sell the house. Cell phones, 2 watches, 1 tablet. You don't need a watch to do your cell phoning. You don't need that. $120 a month. Internet 60 a month. That's fine. Streaming and other subscriptions, $150 a month. Yeah, that's gone too. Bye bye. You need to be working extra instead of watching crap. Husband also has debts of his own. See, that's not how it's supposed to work. You're doing it wrong. He's working with a debt negotiation company to revolve, right? And you know what they're going to do to him. Most likely, most of these places, what they do is they say, okay, we will take care of it. You don't send them any more money. You send all of the money to us, and then we will negotiate with them. So what that means is you're sending all the money to them. Do you think they're going to call them right away and negotiate something? They're not. They are going to let those go to collections first. And guess what? You don't need to pay a company thousands of dollars to let your debts go into collections. You can just not pay them yourself and keep that money, and they will go into collections that way. So you don't have to involve another company. That's dumb as crap, but people run to that because they don't want it on their plate. They don't want to deal with it, and they think there's something. They don't realize that they're paying this company to do something that to achieve the same result. All you have to do is not pay it and keep the money yourself. That will be the same result. And then, of course, you have to negotiate with them later. But that's a lot easier and a lot better than you giving them thousands of dollars to let your stuff go into collection. So that's dumb as crap. Both of you are dumb as hell. Seriously. He also pays for the lawn to be mowed weekly. Okay. See, I mean, this ticky-tack stuff, he pays and I pays. This is why Mr. Ramsey does not suggest that as a way to do finances. He said it should be all together. Anyway, one area I found that I could save about $125 was to bring my auto insurance coverage down to the state minimums. Mr. Ramsey does not advise that. Ditch the umbrella. Yeah, you can ditch the umbrella, but Mr. Ramsey, again, does not advise that for the vehicle insurance. I don't think there's worth protecting at such a high value. Any thoughts? You got other problems than that. See, and you're worried about little baby stuff instead of the entirety of the debt, and your main problem that you're being a dumbass, and you need to stop being a dumbass. I mean, I know that's rough, and people say, oh, that's too harsh, and that's tough love. It's not tough love, it's love. It's telling you the truth. Somebody should have told you that a long time ago. You should have realized it a long time ago. And we don't have a total here, but she said it's a buttload, and I believe her. But you and your husband need to have a meeting and figure out how this thing is going to work. Now, any agreement between husband and wife, that would supersede the baby steps. And so if you can communicate and compromise about this stuff where neither of you are happy, because neither of you get totally what you want, that's fine. And that is what you should do. But of course, the Ramsey advice would be the quickest way to get rid of the debt. And so, yeah, you just waited far too long to do anything about this. And so that's why you don't know where or how to start. Please help. Part of baby step 0, I guess. Maybe not, according to Dave Ramsey, but part of baby step 0, according to me, is stop being a dumbass and start being smarter. People are nutty, man. Nutty. Alrighty. And so, yeah, the cars definitely need to go. The house might need to go as well. Because I didn't add up all the small amounts to see how much total in debt it was. And she didn't say that, which would be the most important thing to let us know. Did not say that. Kindly painting 7143 job offer. I-26 got a job offer for $90,000. I currently make 77K. My current job is comfy. I get all the holidays off. I get 13 hours of paid time off a month, and they don't care when I use the PTO. Great. I get paid 30-minute lunches. Fabulous. I get off on time every day, and they are super flexible. The cons of my current job is that there is no room for growth. So I get it. If you would want to move on, you just have to decide, because you're the one doing it. So this is not really the kind of thing that you should be asking for other people's opinions on, except, of course, to maybe get somebody to tell you that you are the one that needs to decide this, and this is what you need to think about when you decide it. You are listing the pros and cons right there, so that's everything, pretty much everything you need to know. Let's see if there's anything else. No room for growth, and the people I work with are nice but are not great at streamlining or trying hard to work, and it shows. Yep, I hear you. I mean, but that just makes you stand out as a harder worker, so unfortunately no room for growth, though. It's not, I mean, maybe raises, but no room for a higher position, apparently. So my name is Paul, and that's between y'all. You got to make up your mind what's more important to you. The comfiness and the benefits that you get already, or do you want room for growth? Because, you know, you don't know what else is going to be like. You know, you may have similar benefits, but you may not have any of those benefits at a place where there's growth. The new job comes with a higher title, and the higher title by itself doesn't mean crap. Possibly for future growth. Yeah, possibly. See, that's not guaranteed either. So you're going to be fine. You're going to be cool with it if you switch to that job and you also don't have any growth. Even though they might tell you, or it might look like there's room for growth, that doesn't mean that will always be the case. They might say, oh, well, we got a hiring freeze there. We're not doing that. We're not going to promote from within, that kind of thing. They could have any number of reasons to do that, and they can do that at any time. That is how it works when you own the company. You get to change the rules. I would be able to streamline processes and have worked for this boss before, so I know my voice will be heard. Yeah, but also you don't know exactly how things are going to be. You might be able to streamline processes, but then guess what? Somebody else might streamline them too, and they might do a better job than you do. The cons are, I know that I will have to work some of the holidays, right? Not some the holidays. There needs to be a word of there. So definitely streamline your English language. Almost likely, I will be working a lot of holidays. So you have the list. I'm not that invested where I need to do this. I mean, there might be something in here that would be a direct no for me, but apparently it's not for you. So you just need to reread all of this and then make up your mind. Let's see. Side note, my husband is a stay-at-home dad. I want to homeschool when she is older, and I will either reduce my hours or switch roles with my husband in 3 to 4 years so that I can homeschool. All right, so you're quitting no matter what, it looks like. So you're quitting no matter what. So I would probably just, I mean, if everything were equal as far as the benefits, which they may not be, you didn't say about that, or I just skipped it. I don't see anything with benefits at the new job, and maybe you don't even know yet. So, but that's what you would have to check on. So yeah, but you're the one that has to live with that, and you're talking about room for growth. You're quitting in 4 years anyway. Why do you care? That's pretty dumb too. Judgy today. Vixie. No, VLXLX. Cash only versus mortgage for real estate investing. Another dumbass. Hey, I've been listening to Dave Ramsey, and he says you should never take loans for real estate, period. This is where it ends. Nothing you type after that changes his advice for that. Okay? Nothing you type justifies you investing in real estate with a mortgage. That's debt leverage. Mr. Ramsey, again, is the no debt leverage guy in addition to be the no debt guy. See, there's no debt. There's also no debt leverage. Now, he does allow you to get a mortgage, but only for your personal residence. So that's a no. So I'm not going to read any of this dumb BS that you typed after the correct advice from Mr. Ramsey. It says you should never take loans for real estate, only pay cash. And no, investment real estate, he says. He does allow you to get a mortgage for your residence. He prefers you pay cash, but he understands if you get a mortgage. So, but anything business cannot have a debt component to it. Because you're doing it wrong, you're thinking about it wrong, and you're trying to justify it, and you're trying to do financial bro advice, but this is not r/financial bro. This is r/Dave Ramsey. What time is it? Oh, 8:55. Where does the time go? Otherwise, trade 2419. High net worth, money struggles, feel very alone. I did spend a lot of time on that just because it was so long. I should have just skimmed it. But I was waiting. I was looking for the total amount of debt so I could say definitely you got to sell the house and the car. So that's the reason I was doing that. I live in a high cost of living area. Hey, great. Guess what? If you don't make high cost of living money, then you need to move. I don't care if you were born there. I don't care if you have family there. You have to move or get a second job so that you do make closer to the amount. Let's see, my net worth, I am single, is 1.5 plus million dollars. Well, what's the problem? Why are you having money struggles if your net worth is that high? Are you spending too much money in the high cost of living area? Probably. Stop spending money on things that aren't necessary, and then you might be able to make it work. But I'm still needing to watch every penny, live frugally, and sometimes money is tight. Yeah, because probably your 1.5 million is in the house or retirement, and neither of that is good for cash flow. Neither of it. They're not built for cash flow. I feel like I shouldn't complain. Maybe not. You know, some of the people in the Ramsey Show chat will say you're a brag call if you call the Ramsey Show with this problem. Even though things are legitimately hard for me a lot of the time, well, it's your choice because of what you've done here with your life. And with your money. Many people can't afford to own. I have one of the least expensive single family homes in my area. Many people are struggling, I know, and if I were honest, to be honest, with friends about my situation, I think they really truly wouldn't understand. I feel alone in my struggles. I'm 46 years old, divorced female, with 2 high needs, elementary school age, I guess, children. I went through an unexpected. He left divorce after more. I figured there was more going on here after more than a decade of marriage. Yeah, and that can mess you up in your head, and you can get distracted from the baby steps. Trust me, it's happened to the best of us, myself included. Where we at? Divorce was about 9 years ago. Okay, I understand. It may stay with you the rest of your life, but after 9 years, I think you got to let it go. You got to let it go, and you got to start working for what things are happening today and start blaming on things that are happening today and that have happened since the divorce, which is everything that you've done. So I would like to know why I owe $1 million in equity in my very modest home. So it's 1 million in equity only. So that means it's worth more than $1 million. And you have a very modest home. Okay, see, that makes a big difference. See, that you got 1.5 plus million in your net worth, but that means you have you have only $500,000 in equity other than in the house, and that all may be in the your retirement account. See, worth about 1.2, owe about 200,000, 30-year fixed, 3% range. Yep, should have been 30, and that's why Mr. Ramsey says 15-year fixed, so you don't buy too much house. So yeah, if that is the modest, and see, people that live in high cost of living areas are nutty because they think $1 million home is, oh well, that's a modest one. You're full of crap. It's not. So if that's the cheapest one, within 30 miles of you, you need to move out further or leave the state altogether. If it's California, let's see, you've been in the house for 20 years. And that's why you only owe a little bit on it. But you owe about 200K. Well, get that paid off and then you won't have a mortgage payment. I have about 600K in retirement, like I thought. I've been very dutiful about investing ever since I started working. Also, when divorcing, I paid close attention to getting my half of our shared retirement accounts. Great. All of my net worth is a result of very careful, frugal, deliberate, long-term decision making. I work 30 hours a week now. You need to work 40. Oh, so I can be there for my children. You need to make up your mind, and you cannot have everything. You cannot have everything. You cannot spend all the money you want while also not working even 40 hours a week. So you need to cut your budget down to the bone. You keep it down. Make a good hourly wage and have good benefits. I do get child support, but the total for 2 kids is less than my modest mortgage payment. You need to get over yourself with the modest. Just because you live you don't get a pass because you live in a high cost of living area. So quit with your little version of modest. Stop it. That's dumb as crap. That is Richie area. That is Richie area. That is a Richie mortgage payment. Debt free except for the mortgage. Great. So you need to pay that off instead of spending money on anything else. Stop it. I am very frugal. I shop sales, used items, also do my own home maintenance. Well, that part's great. How about you don't shop sales? How about you do without stuff? How about that? Instead of doing you shop sales and get used items, how about you get no new items? You don't need them. You don't need to buy clothes every week, for example. With all of this, I still sometimes find money is tight. Why? What the heck are you spending money on? The day-to-day or month-to-month can be a struggle. Also, I feel pressure to save for big home maintenance expenses, new roof. No, you wouldn't be doing that. You would not be doing that. You should be paying off the house instead of saving for something that may be a long time coming. It may be a while before you need a new roof. So you wouldn't do that. And that's also what your emergency fund is for, if it's indeed an emergency thing. I guess I'm just wondering if anyone else in the same position has been in a similar situation. Words of encouragement? No, you need to quit being dumb. That's my encouragement for you. Quit being dumb. So here's my problem. Since you think that your Richie mortgage payment is modest, then I can guess what? You're also buying things 100% guarantee. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my words, but there's no way we'll ever find out, so it's okay. But I bet this person, because of the use of modest for a Richie mortgage payment, is happening. Also, what's happening is she's buying stuff that she doesn't need to buy. She's spending too much money, guaranteed. I guarantee it. I know I'll be okay long term, not really looking for advice, just wanting someone who can relate. I can relate to it. I can relate to you being dumb and being biased by your high cost of living area. And you're the kind of person that would say, oh, everybody else buys this for their kids, so I have to too. No, you don't. Quit being dumb. So if you cannot live day to day and you have $1 million house, then you need to move down in house, even if it means you have to move from your area. Unless you can cut the budget down by not spending too much money, which I think what you're doing. Also, because I'm sure it will be mentioned, I can't move until the kids are done with school. That's bull crap too. You are full of it, lady. You can move. The kids don't get a vote on that. The kids are allowed to go to a school in a lower cost of living area and they will be fine. Hey, guess what? My kids didn't go to school they went to school, but not in a high cost of living area, and they turned out fine. So shut up with that dumb crap. You see, it's all the justification station here that people are doing for doing this dumb crap, and then they have money problems and have $1 million house, and they can't afford things they want to buy probably because there's too many things being bought, and they got the 30-year mortgage, which allowed them to buy too much house. And so that's exactly why Mr. Ramsey says 15-year fixed instead of 30 years. So yes, you can move before the kids are done with school. There's lots of reasons. I don't care. None of them matter. None of them are justification for you staying in this situation. So either you're spending too much money or you need to sell the house and move down to another house, a lower house. Check your area to see if there's anything worth $800,000 even. This is very modest. See, you're full of crap, lady. There's many reasons I won't list them all, probably because you're full of crap. My kids are high needs, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe you just think they are. Maybe it's Munchausen's by proxy. Anything could be going on here. Anything could be going on. And this is a very good school district. I don't care. You have limited money, apparently, so you need to address that any way you can and quit making up excuses to stay in the situation that you're in right now. My ex is high conflict, and moving will allow him to make a bunch of legal trouble for me. Okay, and that again is your fault. All of it's your fault. It's your little situation. So none of it is justification for staying in the dumb crap that you're doing. Also, even, see, more justification coming. Also, even though it's a high cost of living area, I am from here, born and raised, and that doesn't matter either. You don't get a pass on math because you were born there. You don't get a pass on math because your family lives there. They probably make more money or handle money better than you do. You should have learned that from them instead of being a dumbass. So leaving would make me a single mom with no family within the same area. Quit whining about everything and fix your darn spending. Because it may be able to fix by just you not spending and thinking you need to buy every high cost of living area thing that all the other moms buy their kids. Or have for their house. How nice is your house? How many house projects are you doing? That kind of thing. How many have you done already? So all of that's dumb. I'm glad you don't have any debt other than that. But the whole reason you pay off debt is so that you will be in a much better place by being on baby steps 4, 5, and 6 instead. And so, but if you still can't do that, you have a problem. Either you have to sell the house or you have to cut down expenses so that you can buy the things you want to buy that are necessary. You're buying stuff that's not necessary, I guarantee it. Not that Dave or anyone would suggest it, but I also won't be touching my retirement nest egg. Nope, I wasn't going to say do that either. And you shouldn't be stopping that either. You should be only doing 15% until the house is paid off, though. So if you're putting more than 15% of your gross income into retirement, you're doing it wrong. I'm planning to have it keep growing so I can retire appropriately. See, your version of modest and appropriate, that's just your dumbass wrong opinion. Okay? You're just nutty, lady. You're just nutty. I think you're very spoiled. You're a princess. We got princess syndrome happening here, probably. All right, what time is it? Oh my goodness, 9:10 already. So I won't. Well, let's do one. Feel very alone? It's because you are alone and you're being dumb with money, regardless of your health. Oh, the thing, the baby step in Japan. Yeah, we'll look to see what might be different in Japan. Scared. Roth conversion doesn't make sense for everybody. But you know, the younger you are, it will, because it will pay for itself. The amount that you have to pay in taxes on those contributions that you made to a non-Roth account, because you don't pay taxes on those contributions. So if you convert it to Roth, then you have to pay taxes on those contributions. New car, new engine. My name is Paul, and that's between y'all. And when I say y'all, I mean somebody that knows about cars and knows whether you should put a new engine in your vehicle, or if it's just better for you to get a new to you car. We do not buy a brand new vehicle, definitely don't finance it, but we don't even buy with cash a new vehicle unless you are a millionaire. Need help with 20K debt? That means you, again, do like that lady should do, and you are not buying anything that's not 100% necessary. And you need to do it even more than she does, because she doesn't have any non-mortgage debt like your dumb ass does. All right. Fun time. People pissing me off today. Alrighty. Once again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you'd like to schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me, and I will tell you the truth, if you're doing dumb stuff, I will point it out to you. I might word it a little bit better, but I will make sure you know. And no matter what the person's situation is, I will always find something that you can do better. At least consider doing something better that you're not doing now. Something financial bro, or something that is just not necessary, and it seems like an excessive amount on things that aren't necessary. But if you want to schedule that assessment / consultation with me, you can do that at you email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, and we will work that out as far as date and time. You can also use that email address to hit me up for any financial questions, any financial coaching questions, or anything about anything on my YouTube channel. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, the Cash App at $Coach Steve Money, or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams in about, I would say probably closer to 10 o'clock than 9:30, but somewhere between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, Eastern time, I will continue the chronological playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2 on this very channel. The Ramsey Show After Show upcoming stream 11:05 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, which is Monday, September 1st. August gone already, just like that. But also Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, September 3rd, 4th, and 5th for after shows. Answering your financial question streams, which those are 8 p.m. Eastern time, just like tonight was. And we did the Thursday one, we did the Saturday one, and we did the Sunday one. So I need to update this, obviously, before the after show tomorrow. Yep, 31st, that's today. So yeah, so I don't know off the top of my head which ones it'll be. It'll probably be the days that there are no after shows. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart, not dumbass, financial decisions every day.